Good morning. This is Ron Brown. It's September 27th, 2025. It's a Saturday morning. I didn't get a video out last week because I wasn't feeling good. As most of you know, I've got multiple myeloma, and I'm in an experimental program right now, and the drugs have just been knocking me out. So anyway, I'm going to try to get through this. I just want to talk a little bit about my add-on. If you're a member of the Insider Club, you know that I put out an updated add-on every morning throughout the week, which I'll show you what it consists of and how I'm using it. Also, I've got so much information in there that really isn't relevant anymore. I'm going to start eliminating some of the groups. As always, the market is your teacher. Standard risk disclaimer: any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. When I post in the morning that put a notice out that the add-on is updated, what I've done is I've updated all of these files right in here, number 1 through 22. Also, if I make changes in the warehouse or charts, those will be included in the update. So it's not just this information. And like I said, I've got a lot of stuff in here that I don't believe is relevant anymore, or there's better smart groups that have come along. So I'll be working to get rid of some of these. But I'm going to open up, well, let's go to Best of Woodward and Brown. September. You can see that every day throughout the month is contained in this folder. Friday was the 26th. So this folder contains these 10 stocks. Now, in case you're new to HVSI or don't remember, these 10 stocks are the 10 best stocks that appear in the Woodward and Brown smart groups, the ones that appear most often, and it just cuts off the top 10 and puts them into the Best of Woodward and Brown. Now that's the only smart group that takes a list of stocks and compiles them into the top 10. The others are just things that I've come up with over the years, and I've built a database so I can go in here and see which ones are working and which ones are not. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to start in September. I'm going to go back to the 2nd. I'm arbitrarily doing this because on the chart here, this is the 2nd. If you look down here in the corner, I just want to see how the Best of Woodward and Brown has done. This group of 10 stocks, how it's done, they've done since the signal was generated. Now there may be some exceptional stocks in here, and this will not happen every day, but let's just take a look here. So I'm going to start with AEM, and I'm going to go to the 2nd. If you look down here in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see that that's the 2nd, which corresponds to the 2nd in this group. And from there, it looks like this stock kept going. It had a test, confirmation, effort to rise, and then it traded sideways for a while, and then it took off, pulled back a little bit. Now we're getting another test and a confirmation of that test. That's the gold stock here. So this would be the 2nd, and this is what happened to it since the signal on that day. But you can see there are a lot of other signals before this, but I'm just using the 2nd of September only. Moved up, came down, actually put the crosshair on here. It didn't take the low of this one out, but it did pull back, and now it's going up again. Strength seen returning, confirmation, effort to rise. Why don't I move this over to the right so I can... Let's look at app. Now here's a really good one. This is the second. Again, took off, little shakeout there, and it just kept moving up. The price on this day was $452.25. Now the close is $669. So a huge move on this stock coming out of the best of Woodward and Brown. How about the mining stock here? Another beautiful chart, another good signal. First Majestic Silver. Here's a signal right here, and then it based sideways before it took off. Now this is a sloppier looking chart, but still a winner. HL, Hecla Mining. Here's a signal, moved up, pulled back. It looks like it might be setting up again. Kinross. That's another good move up, pull back to the 18, and then it took off, but then a shakeout on kind of heavy volume down here, but it looks like it may go again. How about New Gold? I mean, it's amazing. All of these are the best of Woodward and Brown. They're all mining stocks. Well, not all of them, but pretty darn close. Here's another one. Here's a signal. And then new mining. Here's a signal. So, I know it's very tough to take these stocks that are in here because a lot of times they've run a good distance already, but you can see that out of all of these stocks in this group, I think they are all winners. Now I'm just doing this on the fly. I have not looked at these. I'm going to go into the top 50 group inclusion report. Let's go back. I run both a long side and a short side. So this is September 2nd. And I imagine there's a lot of the same stocks in here that are in the best of Woodward and Brown. So once again, here is the second. And you can see that's a winner. I'll just go through some of these quickly. That's a buyout. Here's, well, it really hasn't made much progress, but it's still positive. Okay, here's the second right here. We've seen app, ARMN. Here is the second right here. It's trading for about 8.8. It hasn't moved much, but it's still positive. This was a loser here. Now this one is actually a loser, would have been a stop out. Cal-Maine Foods, stop out. Here is CDE again. That's a winner. This started out well, but it's pulled way back now. Anyway, you get the idea that these smart groups that I keep, the historic, I want the history of them so I can go back and check and see how they've done and compare them to other smart groups. Now, another way to look at this is to click on the ranking module, and I have this set up on Wilder, relative strength 14 weeks, and the strongest stocks go to the top of the list. If I go down to the bottom here, UPS is not going to be a strong stock. It showed up in the top 50 right here. It's been a loser since. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the ranking module here. And I'm going to go to the top 50 today. And what I like to do here is I click through to the warehouse and make sure that it's sorted on raw combo. And I like to look down these columns right here because this tells me how old the signals are. Or if there are fresh signals coming up here, here's this one is coming up again because it's 0, 0. So if you look down here closely, you can see the green tick up, the 3 moving up through the 6. So this one's setting up. Macy's, this one's setting up. So that's why these columns right here are so important, because you want fresh horses, as Ian used to say, if you're looking for a new stock to get into. Now you can also tile the ranking and warehouse modules. You can see the warehouse went down to the bottom here, and you can see that with Wilder relative strength 14 weeks, FIX is on top. If I click through to the warehouse, it's near the top of the list. You can see that it had a buy yesterday, Friday. It had pulled back. So let's take a look at it. You can see the pullback here and then the crossover again. An expensive stock to say the least, but I'm just looking at this scorecard view to see, look for the information. I can tell right here that it pulled back, and if you look at this column right here, days since the 6 crossed the 18, 115. So this stock has been on a long run, and this may be an opportunity for those with a lot of capital to get in. Let me go up to this one right here. Once again, a pullback. 0 means it crossed over yesterday. You can see the crossover. This is a inexpensive stock, so that's a potential trade with a setup. One, same thing. This one. Whenever you have a 0 in this column right here, days since the 3 crossed the 6, that means it's a potential run higher on these stocks. Another pullback. So anyway, I don't want to belabor the point. I'll get more into this in future videos when I feel a little better. So I just wanted to get a video out to you since I didn't last week, and maybe give you some things to think about and some groups that you can experiment with. Over the weeks, I'm going to weed out these groups that I don't find all that useful, and I'll concentrate on those. That's it for this week. Sorry the video is short, but like I said, I just wanted to get something out. Thank you for listening, and install your add-on if you're an Insider Club member.